We can also see content clicks. So the system is tracking in the back end what content a person has been clicking. And in this case, we're like, oh, what's this? Andy has been informing himself of the vacation and sick leave policies. And so it's like, okay, it's time for us to, get some information in front of this guy and get him acquainted with how Imagine works as soon as we can. So I'm doing some pro bono work for a charity in Toronto called Imagine Canada. My wife, Haley, works there, and they were in need of employee hub, a place where people can find policies, reports, guidance, documents that help inform how work is done and how people behave within the organization. And so I want to show you our first draft. It's been a couple of days we've been working on this. I think one of the cool things is we've been putting a lot of work into the admin side of the employee hub. So it's like the work that the organization has to do to maintain their policies, maintain their content, get people signed off on things, get the information in front of people who need it, review in a timely manner. And so really focusing on two sets of workflows. There's the user, who's the employee coming in to find content, to interact with content. And that's what you're seeing on the left-hand side of the screen. And then on the right-hand side of the screen, there's the admin view. So this is Haley and her colleagues who are managing this system going forward and the workflows they need. So this worker view, let's call this person user Andy, and we'll call this person admin Andy. And the cool thing about Admin Andy is most of the views are similar for the main pages, but it's the buttons that hide these like alternate realities in a way of like overlapping perspective. And I'll get into that very shortly. So, new Andy. Let's say new Andy is just hired. New Andy can come in, explore some of the content that are on these main pages, and each of these pages will have some front matter to describe, in this case, how we work. And then down below is a curated view of the content relevant to how we work. So on this main page right now is where this all content lives. This is everything we've got in here. So we've got some knowledge resources, some policies, and then some, they're policy light. So we're calling them guidance documents. So yeah, new Andy can float through some of these pages to see how that's done. And if he's interested in compensation and benefits, here's the vacation sick leave policy, and he can open up the details to see more about vacation. And within each content document, you can see a brief description, some details. You can put a link in if you're linking to some external, G Drive or SharePoint. Upload a file directly if it's a PDF or anything else. You can see the page that it's located on, who's responsible. In this case, it's admin Andy who's responsible for this policy. And then you get a bit of content. So in this case, just a little bit. We'll come back to this sign off piece and then a sort of detailed change log of how the in this case, policy has been updated over time. A new Andy can also go to a people page and check out the other people in the organization. In this case, we're still early days, so there's not a lot of people in here, but here's my wife, Haley, so new Andy can sort of click on the details here, see some information, see the content that Haley's responsible for. But as admin Andy, we don't want to let new Andy just drown in this, sea of content. It's actually more like a big puddle at the moment. So we want to set him up for success in his new role in our organization. So admin Andy is going to assign new Andy some content to read and to sign off on. But admin Andy does not want to assign individual pieces of content, and so we've created something called content groups. And these are like bundles of content. So you can see here there's an all staff content, which has all of this content bundled inside of it. Moving on up, which is some of our like advancement, talent development, and then this onboarding content. So the question becomes, how do you assign this to someone? How does admin Andy assign this to new Andy? And you can do it from here, but can also, depending on where you are, go to the people page, find new Andy, and this is where we'll see the first experience of, I guess, the overlapping realities. Now, this is a little bit crammed down because I've got the screens shifted, so they actually do look the same when they're right size. So same detail sections, same, here's the content they're responsible for, and of course, new Andy has no content they're responsible for. But the admin view gets some extra treats. And those are content assignments. So this is where we can assign and see what content someone has been assigned to read and sign off on. We can also see content clicks. So the system is tracking in the back end what content a person has been clicking. And in this case, we're like, oh, what's this? Andy has been informing himself of the vacation and sick leave policies. And so it's like, okay, it's time for us to, get some information in front of this guy and get him acquainted with how Imagine works as soon as we can. So we'll go back up. Admin Andy will assign the onboarding content group. Okay, just like that, there it is. It's been assigned to new Andy. And new Andy is about to get a notification that he's been assigned some content. Admin Andy, meantime, can click into the onboarding control group and see a little bit more information. And so it's brought into this assign page for this content group. There's also a main page where you just get a general sense of what content's in the group, but you can also navigate around to the other content groups. And then there's the build page, and this is where we can add additional policies to the group if we want, and remove and edit and such. But back over to the assign page. So we can see new Andy and Haley have both been assigned to the onboarding content group. And Haley's doing well, 60% of the way there, and still another week and a bit to go. And if we want a little bit more information, clicking this check status will show in this table how she's doing. So red obviously means not yet signed off, and in green showing the content that she's read and the date that she signed off. Andy, of course, all red, hasn't done a thing yet. So let's head back over to new Andy, check out notifications, and here it is. Hey, I assigned you some content. And we're over on this content assigned to me area. Here, new Andy can see has been assigned the content group onboarding. So the policies and such that are in there, there's an estimated date for completion, which is just 30 days out. And clicking on this details button for the onboarding content group is going to bring new Andy into this different views. So here we go into some of the sort of overlapping realities where the admin person sees this, sort of rich context, and the user is, because they're in the onboarding workflow now, sees some instructions, their progress, and can one by one sort of click into these policies. We know he's familiar with vacation policy already, but you can open up that link to review. Just let someone know where you're going before you leave. Fine, review the change log, and then when new Andy understands, he clicks to sign it, is brought back to the onboarding, can see his progress has moved up now at 20%, and the admin view sees the same. So now checking his status, you can see that policy has been signed off on the 19th. And then if for some reason Andy stalls, or let's move this date back to pretend that he's blown past this deadline, then now that it's overdue, from the admin view we see this sort of red line. And back over on new Andy's content page, that's turned red. You can see too that the vacation, since it's been signed off, has sort of disappeared from this content for sign off page because it's already done. So there is an automated notification system in the back end running. I'm going to trigger it just so we can see what happens. But essentially, when an assignment runs overdue, the backend automation system just triggers this notify button, which will update when we last notified, and in a moment, Andy will get a notification that something is horribly wrong. Okay, and there it is. So, hey, it's time to read and sign off on content from content group. Check out your assignments here, and it's still warping him to the wrong spot, but he's got that button there and can see, where he's been um, slacking on his responsibilities. So, pretty cool so far. There's lots more to see, lots more to build. There's a pretty robust review process and workflow that's built in already, to help people who are responsible for content review on a regular cadence, keep things fresh. We're also starting to build out some feedback features so that users can provide feedback to the people who are responsible for content, ideas, suggestions, things that are missing, trouble finding information, that sort of thing. So I'm going to post some more videos as we keep working on this, and thanks for watching. I'd love to hear what you think of this. If you see something that would be a real asset to include, generally just reach out with your thoughts and comments, and thanks for watching. Take care.